I'm Ginger Chang. Welcome to USTC360. It's great to see you again. Today, I would like to share with you the remarkable journey of Michael Tsai. When Michael was told by his doctor in 1999 that he had Ewing sarcoma, a rare form of primary bone cancer, he was devastated by the bad news. He had been looking forward to reuniting with his family in Taiwan after being abroad for 17 years. Michael was given chemotherapy injections and radiation treatment, but the effectiveness of the cocktail drug regimen was not working. Surgery seemed to become the only available option. However, Michael's doctor gave him no guarantees that he could save his arm. All hope seemed lost for Michael until he happened to look at a little jade statue of the Bodhisattva Guan Yin and found the spiritual guidance he needed.
I started my business at the age of 23 and employed 12 workers by the time I was 29 years old. People saw me as a self-motivated and successful young man. However, my heart always felt empty, and sometimes I was not happy.
During the 1980s, Taiwan was in an unstable transition period. Many families sent their children to the United States to study, in the hope that it would be a better place for them to grow up. These children later became known as parachute students. Michael came to the United States in 1983 and began living with a host family.
I had such a tough time then. I wasn't familiar with the language and was not accustomed to the living style in the US. I felt very sad and cried quite often. At that time, the money exchange rate was $1 to 42 Taiwan dollars, so a phone call to Taiwan costed me $2 per minute. I desperately wanted to become financially independent as soon as I could, so that I would no longer need to rely on my parents' support and therefore reduce their financial burdens.
Michael achieved his goal by the age of 29. However, the reality of impermanence soon came knocking on his door.
I began to have some symptoms when I was 27 years old. My hands became very sore. Since I'm in the computer business, I worked on a computer keyboard for 10 to 12 hours each day. So I didn't really pay much attention to the pain. However, one day, the pain became extreme, so I went to see a doctor. He asked me to extend my hands and then flip them over. I did what he asked, but one hand was flat, while the other remained in a vertical position. It wouldn't turn over. The doctor immediately took x-rays of my hands. The x-rays showed two healthy white-colored bones on one hand, but the bones on the other hand were discolored and dark. Finally, I was diagnosed at the UCLA Medical Center as having a rare form of primary bone cancer. The doctors only gave me 6 months to live. I remembered that I left the hospital that day with tears in my eyes. I had cried a lot when I first came to America at the age of 14, but I had become much stronger over the years as I realized that I needed to be independent and responsible for myself. I had not cried since then. However, hearing this devastating news crushed me completely.
In December 1999, we bought airline tickets and were getting ready to go back to Taiwan to visit our families. This was to be Michael's first trip back since he left Taiwan more than 10 years ago. However, he had to cancel the trip 2 weeks before he was to leave because it was discovered that he had cancer. It was really tough on him.
I called home and spoke to my mom. I asked, "How are you doing, Mom?" She answered with excitement, "We're all fine. We're so happy that you're coming back. All of our friends are eager to give you a big welcome home feast. We have redecorated a room for you to stay in, and we've even repainted our gate. We are so excited to see you again after 17 years of separation." After she finished, I handed the phone to my girlfriend and walked away. because I couldn't speak with so much emotion in me.
Finally, Michael had no choice but to call his eldest brother in Taiwan and tell him he had cancer. His girlfriend then, Belinda, got on the phone and described Michael's illness. His brother then relayed the bad news to Michael's mother and his girlfriend's parents.
Michael was only about 29 years old at the time, and they were planning to get married. Everything seemed to be perfect, and a bright future was right in front of them. Then this terrible news was received, and suddenly everyone around Michael was immersed in fear and uncertainty.
My father said to me, "You should go and take care of him." We were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and I'm very grateful for my parents' support. They asked me to move into his place so that I could take care of him and take him to see the doctor every day.
Michael treated my sister very well and is a wonderful son-in-law. He treated my parents just like his own parents. That's the reason why my parents felt obligated to ask my sister to be with Michael and to take care of him when he was ill.
I'm very grateful for my parent-in-laws. I treated them just like they were my own parents. But my health continued to go downhill even though I had this incredible support from our families.
However, Michael's treatment didn't seem to be working, and his condition was not improving. Michael started to reflect on the meaning of life. While looking at a little jade statue of Avalokitesvara or Guan Yin that his mother had given him, he realized that this personal experience with impermanence allowed him to have a deeper understanding of the Buddhist concept of causality.
Before he became ill, Michael wanted to make more and more money. He was obsessed with wanting to be successful. When he became ill, those things became secondary in his mind. He began giving larger year-end bonuses to his employees because he felt that he needed to share the profits with his co-workers. I noticed that he spent a lot of time doing volunteer work and helping others.
I began to make some changes in my life since I wanted to face death in a positive manner. Compassion is the most important concept in Buddhism. I used to go to Chinatown to purchase live fish, shrimp, or crabs on the weekends. I would wash the crabs and throw them into boiling water. I could hear some noise at the beginning, but everything would become quiet soon afterwards. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it at the time, but now I realize what compassion really means. Since I'm so attached to my own life and so scared of losing it, how can I take the lives of other living beings?
So Michael began to practice vegetarianism. He joined Tsai in 1999 as a way to realize this wish. Tsai didn't have a cancer patient support group at the time. So Michael told fellow Tsai volunteers, "If anyone needs help, please have them contact me. I can help my fellow cancer patients through those dark periods of their lives." He began with health seminars in the community and then founded a cancer support group. Since the cancer support group was first established in April of 2000, roughly 20 to 30 cancer patients participated in its monthly meetings. Michael says there have been cancer patients who were cured along the way and no longer participate in the program. Unfortunately, there are an equal number who have since departed this world. When Michael first began volunteering to help others, He did it for himself in an attempt to seek universal salvation. He never expected that his commitment would give other cancer patients the courage to find it also. Let's see in our next segment how Michael's efforts have come about and why he has become, as one Tzu Chi volunteer puts it, a courageous person that has gained the respect from other cancer patients as well as their families.
他希望把他对癌症的这个
He wished to convey to his fellow cancer patients his knowledge about cancer and the process of chemotherapy treatment.
跟
He stated that he couldn't bear to see his fellow cancer patients wasting time or to be unable to receive proper treatment.
再走冤枉路。
He encouraged them to remain calm and to face their situations with courage. Over the years, he continuously gave without hesitation. That is why he is a very courageous person who deserves our respect.
他是令我非常敬佩的一位生命的勇者。
Every time that he shared his experiences with us, he was actually trying to encourage us with the philosophy of humanity. We love to hear stories that touch upon the philosophy of seeking inner peace through this terrible illness. All of these stories gave us wisdom.
生活上所碰到的
We try to transform bad situations in life into good ones. There is nothing that can't be changed after you have changed your mental concentration from the illness to the wisdom of life.
能够转变的。
The next thing that needs to be changed is to transform life, death into the state of nirvana.
把生死也转过来。
My physical condition is not that good, but confidence and happiness are giving me the strength to live on. Therefore, I need to participate in as many activities as possible. And Michael gives me the strength to do so.
这些的活动我都会来参加，然后我觉得看到那个 Michael 就有力量。
During our monthly meetings, we usually invite medical experts to speak about new developments in the area of cancer treatment and tips on caring for ourselves. But even more importantly, this is an opportunity for everyone to get together and exchange ideas. One of the missions of this cancer support group is to help fellow patients face this illness with calm instead of fear.
都能够很泰然的面对这个疾病，让这个疾病不再造成心里头的一个恐惧跟压力。
在他身边
We are fortunate to have had this cancer support group established, and it was through Michael's dedication that it was. We are also grateful for the other cancer members who contribute so much while suffering with their own health problems. We often see members at one meeting, but unfortunately don't see them at the next monthly meeting. Therefore, we need to treasure what we have right now and contribute to society generously. Master Zheng Yin taught us, give without thinking of getting something in return, because we're not sure if we will still be here tomorrow.
所求。那因为我们不晓得到底是明天先到还是无常先到。
When my wife went in for a checkup at the doctor's office, she was told that her cancer had continued to spread instead of shrink, and that she needed to prepare for death. She thanked the doctor for letting her know. She was very calm and told me that she knew what she should do. She immediately joined the Tzu Chi volunteer training program to get ready to contribute as a volunteer. We are very grateful for Brother Michael's consolation. Many of his life philosophies and points of view have helped us find our own inner peace.
好像就是洗涤我们心灵。
我去到那边的时候，跟他讲说。
When I visited her for the last time, I told her that life is eternal from a Buddhist point of view. We all actually exist in a state between life and death. I told her not to be afraid, because it is only a form of transformation. We need to face it calmly, and the Bodhisattva will surely come and help us.
光明的一个转变而已所以让他讲说可以，我们可以面对它那佛菩萨必定会来加持我们。
好好休息，休息。
《
Michael 师兄，真的是谢谢你，好感恩。Michael 师兄，我抱你没有关系吧？你跟我弟弟一样。
本来就是你弟弟。我们很快就会为这西方极乐世界相见了。
要最后的人生50年是最有意义的。
最后人生怎样
？50年是最有意义的，最有意义的，真的。
我真的是很感恩他。
I'm really grateful for my wife.
更体悟生死的无常嘛。我当然我自己也知道说。
Because of her, I understand the uncertainty of our lives. I'm not as strong as she was mentally, but I hope that I can continue walking down this same path that she walked, so as to make her happy.
这样子走下去，走他所选的这一条路下去，能够让他更安心一点。
Sister Qingrui Wang passed away on August 7th, 2010. Many Tzu Chi members came together to chant and to wish her peace on her way to eternity. They also helped by preparing her memorial services. The cancer patients and their families have learned to face the reality of death with a positive attitude and learn to be more grateful for what they have and more willing to give and contribute.
I'm very much inspired by the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. At the beginning of the Heart of Prana Paramita Sutra, it says, when Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara was practicing profound prana paramita, he illuminated to 5 skandhas and saw that they are all empty, and he crossed beyond all suffering and difficulty. What has attracted me most is he crossed beyond all suffering and difficulty. There are 2 concepts in this sentence, and one is save oneself, and the other is to save others. The other sentence I was attracted to was, because nothing is attained, the Bodhisattva, through reliance on prana paramita, is unimpeded in his mind. Because there is no impediment, he is not afraid, and he leaves distorted dream thinking far behind. Ultimately, nirvana. I'm really fascinated by the words, he is not afraid. I don't want to be afraid, but how do I reach that state of mind? After all, it was clearly cited in the Buddhist Sutra, because there is no impediment, he is not afraid. I suddenly understood that it was the heart. My heart couldn't let go of this symbolic form of life and death and had become an impediment. So I was afraid and suffering. I have learned a lot from Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. It's been several years now. The doctor is still amazed to see me when I go back to him for checkups. He even tells his students about my case, the diagnosis, and the treatments. He ends the conversation with, he is still alive today. He tells them that not all cancer cases are exactly like the textbooks state. I'm very fortunate to have chosen to walk down the right path. It was like a bad dream, but life is good and beautiful when the dream is over.
Michael's story is indeed a miracle to not only his doctor, but to everyone around him, particularly for other cancer patients, because it gives them a reason to face their disease with faith and courage. Currently, Michael has only 1 tumor remaining on the right side of his neck, but he no longer undergoes the extensive and debilitating treatments. He has been stable since 2005. Michael is happy to report that his current regimen of treatment only involves an annual checkup at the doctor's office. next segment, Footprints, we share with you the story of a volunteer from the Tsai, New Jersey chapter. Jianfang Wu is another living example who we can all learn from. Similar to Michael Tsai, Jianfang Wu had a high salary job. He became familiar with Tsai because of his wife, and he refuses to let brain and oral cancer bring him down.
Well, a car came speeding down the street from the opposite direction. I was completely unaware. The next thing I knew, the policeman had taken me to the hospital. I was completely unconscious for about 3 to 4 hours. The doctor was going to give up on me. I personally think it was because of my brain cancer. Even though I have 2 different forms of cancer, I will not say, I am going to die, or something along that line. I refuse to do it. This is really tough compared to the first cancer, the brain cancer I had before. The radiation therapy is very different. The point is that this time it is in my mouth. If the mouth is affected, you simply cannot eat. It's totally impossible. I still consider myself very lucky though. My condition seems to be fine. As you can see, I'm still able to mow the lawn, and I can still do my chores every day. That thing made out of cardboard must be discarded here. The truth is that we all die. It's just a matter of sooner or later, right? I can do something with the time I have left, and if it doesn't go anywhere, then it's time for me to leave, right? But one must be active, so I believe in leading an active life. Complaining. That's something I don't do, not even a bit. I guarantee you 100% that you will never hear a complaint from me.
Jianfang Wu's optimistic attitude is admirable despite his condition. His sister says that she's devastated every time she has to see her brother use a feeding tube inserted into his stomach in order to eat. Jianfang Wu says his wife and kids give him the strength to keep him going. I am Ginger Chang. Thank you for watching USTC360, and we'll see you next week.